Hi guys, welcome to the second episode of the Make It Easy podcast. In case you just stumble upon this video, my name is Shalomeni and this is the Make It Easy podcast. Thank you to everyone who has watched the first video, and thank you for the amazing feedback that you guys are giving. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. And if you have not watched the video, make sure you do. And I hope it speaks to you, and I hope you get to learn a thing or two about your growth journey. So today will be like a part 2 of the past episode we did on growth. Today we'll be talking about showing up, because I realized that for you to actually go through your growth journey, you need to intentionally show up, and just move out of your comfort zone. So today we'll be speaking about showing up. And just a quick analogy. Imagine you are meeting up with a friend, you're planning to meet up with a friend you have not seen for a long time, and then you're so excited, you can't wait for that day to reach so that you see your friend. And then on that day, for some reason, you don't feel like leaving the house, you don't feel like leaving the warmth of your blanket or your house, you just don't feel like going. It's not because maybe the friend has done something or you're annoyed with him, but it's just because you don't feel like leaving, you don't feel like leaving the house. You just feel like staying in your comfort zone, literally. And that's how it is when it comes to showing up. Showing up is easier said than done. 1 minute you're really pumped up about doing something and you cannot wait to do it, but then when that actual situation comes, you're like I don't want to do this. So a quick story. So about 2 months ago, I started going to the gym. So earlier on, when this year was beginning, I had told myself that I want to have started working out, going to the gym and working out. And 6 months down the line, I was like, I don't feel like doing it. It is so unnecessary. I just wrote it for the sake of just writing. But then around July, I was like, Shalom. Let's try it. What's the worst that can happen? Let's try it. So I located a gym around my place. So I started going to the gym, and because during the day I'm a bit busy because of school and other things, so I decided to be going for the morning sessions at 5 in the morning. And it was not easy, but of course the first 2 days I was very, very excited. I couldn't wait to just wake up and just go. I couldn't wait for the alarm to ring. Like, I was so happy. And then by the time it's getting to the third day, I was like, Shalom, unadu? It's not necessary, And I was like, I was really dragging myself. It was not a good. I was just so. I felt like I just felt like giving up. Like, Shalom, why all this unnecessary pressure? And I remember I was telling another friend of mine that, I've started going to the gym, and I told them at what time I'm going, and they're like, I cannot do that to myself. That's too much, Shalom, that's torture. Then I was like, Shalom, why did you decide to go to the gym in the first place? But then, earlier this year, I had, after thinking about the things that I want to do, and the things that I want to have achieved before the end of the year, I realized that I have been taking care of these other aspects of my life, other than my physical journey, just taking care of myself physically. So I decided I will start with that small step. And when I had started the gym, a few days later, I was like, Shalom, is it really necessary? I know you want to work on your physical fitness, but it's really necessary, and I'm sure most of you are now thinking that this story is going to end up by me saying I stopped going to the gym. That's not the storyline. I have been going to the gym. It's been, I think, 2 months now, 3, going to 3. I've been going to the gym, and there's some days I'm like, I cannot do this. very unnecessary. But then I remind myself, why did you do it? Why did you start in the first place? Why did you enroll in a gym in the first place? And with that idea in mind, I'm like, okay, Shalom, you have to pull through. Of course, at this point, I can't say I wake up every day excited to go to the gym, but I'm getting there. But away from the gym story, because this is not a fitness channel. The point I'm trying to bring home is that showing up is not a smooth journey. There are days you will feel like, this is too much. This is too much on me. I cannot really bear this. And one of the things that makes it hard is not even the voice inside you. It's the voices around you. People are you want to do something, you want to try out this business idea, but then people around you, they're like, this is too, you are too ambitious. I mean, stop. People are just shushing you down. In the Bible, we know the story of Joseph. He had this dream that his brothers are going to bow down before him. The sun and the sun, moon and stars will bow down before him. And the first thing he thought of after having that dream, he was so excited, and he was like, what, I'm sure my brothers will be so excited to hear this dream that I had. And all this time he's telling the brothers about the dream. The brothers are like, what do you mean? We bow down before you, and you are younger than us. So the brothers were like, they quickly they shushed him, and they didn't want to hear any more of that. And of course, even the story, even the father Jacob, he didn't really see sense in whatever Joseph was dreaming. And eventually, years later, after he went through the pit, he was sold as a slave, he went to prison. Eventually he became the governor of Egypt. And of course, something easy that Joseph was like, yeah, I'm in prison, but I know I'm going to become a governor. No, he was in despair. He was really, he was going through all of it. But then there's a quote by Dr. Wale. There's a quote he said, that when God gives you a dream, he does not give it to the people around you. If God today tells you, or today God gives you a very brilliant idea, he does not go to tell your friend or to tell whoever to confirm it, And that's how God works, and that's how it is generally. Because sometimes we feel like we need a validation stamp from our friends, from our relatives, or whoever who is around us. When we have this very brilliant or amazing idea, we have this very good thing that you want to do, but then simply because my friend does not really agree to it, or my friend does not see it as I envision it to be, you just give up on it. Can you imagine if Joseph, after his brothers said that they don't see anything like that happening in the future, and his father, and then he just stopped, he stopped thinking about it, he wouldn't have become the person he became years later. So even for you, whatever idea or whatever dream you have, don't give it up because your friend does not agree to it. Imagine, just show up. There's a quote that says, showing up for yourself will mean leaving behind those who don't. Imagine, because it is accepted for people not to believe in you, and it's such a, it's not a good place to be, having people who you trust or people you really look up to not really believing in you, or not really rooting for you, but then showing up for yourself will mean leaving behind those who don't. Can you imagine what Joseph would have turned out to be if he just gave up on that, and he didn't God's plan for him. You should stop making people's actions or words be the validating metric of your dream. Can you imagine? Think about it. Can you imagine how chaotic it could have been if God gave you this bright, brilliant idea that you think this is going to change Africa. This is what Africa has been waiting for. But then you wake up, or you just scroll around social media, and you get to realize, I'm not the only one who thought about this. There are 10 other people, 5 other people who already thought about this. And that can be very chaotic. But the mere fact that you are the one who has that idea, you, out of all the millions of people that are around the world, are the only person with that dream. This is just God telling you that you're the best person for that particular talent or gift, because God does not take chances. It's not like he has a lot of gifts and talents up in heaven and he's like just throwing them down on earth randomly. God gives you that unique business idea because he knows you are the only one who's going to execute it to the maximum. Like you'll do it very well. So you're not showing up, or you're not doing it, or you're not just pursuing it because your friend or your relative is not agreeing to it. It's just you telling God that, you know what, hey God, I think you made a mistake here. I'm not fit for this. Because as I said, God does not take chances. He's up there and he's like, I know this person. This is the person, this young lady or young guy over here is the one who's going to execute this idea to his maximum, to her maximum level best. So you not executing it is actually you letting God down. And can you imagine how disappointing it can be when all is said and done here on earth, and now judgment is upon all of us, and now you get to see who or what will have become if only you just left that comfort zone and just show up. Just do it. Just start with that very, very tiny step. Can you imagine just seeing how much you'll have accomplished? And you didn't amount to that simply because you just didn't make that bold move. And sometimes, of course, it's not easy. Let me tell you, for the longest time, I've always wanted to start a podcast for the longest time. But then I was like, starting a podcast is such it's a lot of work, and I'm like, Shalom, can you really do it? It's a lot of work. You cannot do it. But then one day I was like, I just sat down and I just narrowed whatever I think I need to start a podcast. And starting a podcast has never felt so easier. Simply because I just took that bold step and told myself, okay, you've been thinking about this for so long, now let's just see what it is you need. And it felt so easy, and I was like, yes, I think this is something I can do it. And that is why most of us really fear of getting out of that shell that we have put for ourselves, is because we don't want to make that bold move. We're too scared to make that bold move. I remember before I actually now made a decision to actually start a podcast, I had a lot of guesses, and I was like, okay, what if people don't listen to it? What will people think? Of course, all those thoughts will come, but then just sit down, like just that it's not from you, that is a higher authority than you that placed that desire in your heart, and you not really executing it is you failing God. So I narrowed down what starting a podcast looks like, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And of course, when I wanted to I was now ready to shoot the first episode. I wanted this whole team, Sewa Lights, I wanted a whole crew, someone on the lights, a camera guy, I don't know who, everything. And I remember a friend of mine was like, Shalom, you don't need all of this to start. You can actually start with your phone. It is that simple, Shalom. You don't have to go at it all big. I was like, no, I don't want. If I'm not starting big, I do not want to do it. And eventually I listened to him. But then this is to tell you, at whatever point you are, just start. Don't want to have this big entrance. A tree, you start climbing a tree from up down there, not up down there. So it's a process. We were speaking about growth last week, and we said that they are different. It's different. It's a whole different journey. So even for you, embrace your small beginnings. And there's a verse that says, do not despise the days of humble beginnings. So even for you, it doesn't matter where you are or where you're starting, what point you're starting from. Imagine just start and eventually, after of course time, it is all going to make sense. And we are all aware with this phrase, trust the process. But just trust it. Imagine there's nothing else. There's no technicality to it. Just trust it and just make that bold move. Most of us, the reason why we fear showing up is because imposters, apart from people, having people not really validating what you're doing, imposter syndrome creeps in. And there's nothing as imposter syndrome. But remember, when it kicks in, you are the one God has entrusted you with that given idea. So just have it, but then remember, keep in mind that you are the only one who has been given that idea by God. There's no other person who is thinking about whatever you want to do. So by virtue of you having that idea, just God telling you can do it. It doesn't matter who is against you or I am with you. God is just giving you his thumbs up and telling you, go. I'm behind you. And yeah, that was it for today. So, and I hope you remember that showing up is the first step. So whatever situation, whatever it is you feel like, I cannot really do this, just take that one bold step and show up. I remember when when I decided now to go all hands in to start this podcast, I was really second guessing myself, but then I was just there asking myself, what's the worst that can happen? And that has really that mentality has really helped me. So even for you, just keep on asking yourself, what's the worst that can happen? God has already given me this idea. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, there's nothing. It's just all in the mind. So remember, do not let yourself down. Do not let he who gave you that idea down. So yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye. If you have not yet subscribed, make sure you do, share, like, comment. Bye.